am Negan.
I am Negan.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast. My name is Adam Vale. I'm an editor over at the Koalition.com, and I'm joined by Editor-in-Chief Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
Oh, I'll tell you what's up. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, pop open a brewski, because we are officially done with World Beyond. Oh, let me take a swig. Nice. All right. Yes, people, if you've seen the title of this episode, this is our discussion and our review of World Beyond. That series is over. 2 seasons. That was 4 episodes of 1 season too long. This was no good. Oh man, that's right. I just said it that way. But yeah, this is for the whole thing. But of course, we're gonna go into the outcome, the fallout, which is from the season 2, episode 10, "The Last Light." So if you have not watched it, people, just so you know, there's spoilers, and if you don't care, who cares, right? Because we were open about it. We sort of stopped watching. We watched it because we had to for this, but we stopped covering it weekly like we used to because it was boring. The show was just boring. And it's not really relevant to any of like World Beyond. Of Walking Dead proper or Fear the Walking Dead. And they really didn't. Well, we'll get into it. But thanks again for all the support over on Spotify and iTunes, for following, and of course YouTube, and over at the Koalition. That's with a K, thecoalition.com. We got interviews with cast members and other stuff going on there. Reviews, game reviews, movies, you name it. There's a lot of stuff there. So again, thanks again. And yeah, let's just get this started. Again, if you didn't watch it, just a reminder, this is it. We're going to spoil all of it. So you can go on AMC Plus right now and watch it, or you could just wait till Sunday when it airs on AMC. All right, here we go. Man, this is... All right, so they killed off a lot of characters, but they didn't kill off the ones I wanted. That's it. I mean, we got Huck. Okay, that didn't make much sense. That fight that she had with Jadis made no sense, because here it is, they're using that tool, the empty, or as they call them here, the empty hurting tool, and Huck disarms Jadis. She beats her when they're doing that little battle there, but then she picks up one and throws it at her. It's like, here, let's keep going. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Once that happened, that told me, oh, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. You set yourself up because you had the chance. You had her. You could have just taken her out. And no, you want to bring her into it. And then they have their whole little discussion about why they're doing it. And then, of course, Jadis gets the upper hand and kills her. And boom, dum-dum-dum, she's done. What did you think of that? Were you cool with it?
No, because the previous episode, she held Jadis at gunpoint. So she could have killed Jadis in the previous episode. But obviously, for the finale, they wanted to have a showdown between these two. That's what they described afterwards in the behind-the-scenes footage. So I understand them wanting to have a showdown, but I was not satisfied with the conclusion of that battle. Now, I already knew that Huck wasn't going to make it when she told her boyfriend and Silas to go ahead.
That was a husband.
Oh, the husband, yeah. Okay, so he is a husband. All right, yes.
Yeah. They did a little flashback. They talked about it. They got married, and then she went off on this. It was in one of the flashbacks. She talked about after they got married, shortly after, she wound up getting called away on this special mission.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, when she told him and Silas to go, I knew at that point she was not going to survive. It's like someone trying to be a hero, stay behind, and I'll make sure that the explosion goes off or whatever. Yep. So I knew she was going to die, but still, that was not a satisfying conclusion to that fight.
Yeah, and again, the problem that this show had is at no point did I feel an attachment to any of the characters. There was no connection whatsoever. If something bad happened, if some drama, I don't care. I don't feel it. When she died, we got to remember, she was still a bad person. This was the person that killed What's his name's uncle? Oh man, the other dude that died.
Percy.
Percy's uncle.
Yeah.
And she set up Silas to take the fall, and she did a lot of other horrible things. She was going to kill Felix. You know, if she didn't get stopped, she was going to kill Felix too. So there's you can't feel any sympathy. At least on my end, I felt no sympathy. So when it was like, all right, she's going to die. Okay, whatever.
I mean, I know there are a lot of people that like the Huck character. I know from what we did season 1, we did have some people that liked that character.
Oh, that was before the change. That was before the switch. Yeah, she definitely had a role. Great actress. Yeah. She was in the Americans. That was an awesome show.
Mm-hmm. So, I definitely didn't feel much of anything. I figured that because this was a finale and it's the last episode, there had to be some death. So that made sense for somebody to go out, but still not the satisfying conclusion to what happened with Jadis.
Yeah. Her. And then when they show the shootout, going back with that little colony over there, it really is small. There was only maybe like not even a dozen people there. They always make it seem like it's a larger settlement than what it is. Right? Because they show all these structures and stuff like, oh, wow, there's got to be a lot of people. But then when you see the CRM having them all lined up for execution, there's not even 12. So I'm like, what is this? How are you keeping this place afloat? But whatever. There's a big shootout that takes place, and this is where her husband gets shot. And I thought he was gone. I was like, oh, that was a quick death. But no, he lingers on, and there's for a reason. Because later on in that episode, that's when they are about to get captured by the CRM. He can't move anymore. He's taking his meds up, but he gives up. He knows. They saw the explosion. They saw what happened, so they figured, hey, my wife is dead. Just put a bullet in me. This will help you out. You kill me. You could tell him that you captured me and I forced you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's not going to work. Well, that's exactly what they do, and it did work. I don't get it. So Silas shoots him. He kills him. Jadis interrogates Silas, and she even says it. She's like, yeah, I know his plan was so that way it saves you. You kill him, you look like the good guy, blah, 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 blah. What do you want out of this? He was like, I want to join the CRM. I want to be one, and blah, blah. He spits out the propaganda. She clearly doesn't buy it, but then she does, because then she's like, all right, you're going to be my pet project. You're in the program. And you see people like training in the background. I'm like, how? How is this like so normal now? There was a big explosion. There's a deadly chemical not too far off in the air now. And yet everybody, you see them with the white shirt and stuff like it's in the military base. Like they're just jogging around doing their training. And then, you see him later on. He joins up. He's got the helmet on and he's part of the CRM. And so I guess he did this. I'm assuming he did this just to save his ass, because if not, they were going to kill him. So how far does he go? Who knows? Because the series is over, and I really don't care. Because wait, he's going to try to escape? All right, whatever.
No. Well, honestly, I felt like that ending for him made sense, because the character was always a character where you had to question whether or not he was good or bad. With all the stuff they teased in the first season, and then you found out he killed his father. Yeah, you feel sympathy for him a little bit in regards to why he did that, but still not a good person. And he could easily turn on a dime. So even though, because the same thing is that her husband did tell him, you tell them that, but don't change into the person that actually believes all of this stuff and actually lives by this stuff. And I think, yes, he could still make that turn. But again, the show is over, so it doesn't really matter. Now, obviously, if they have a spinoff and we see these characters again in the future, which I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure that's going to happen. Then you'll see how they have grown as far as what they're doing at the time. But it pretty much is a setup that he's probably like they alluded to when they first started making this show, that there were characters that were going to end up becoming, turning over to the evil side. They're going to be good guys. So I assume that he is going to eventually be a bad guy. But again, why should we care? Because the show is over.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Everyone survived. All 4 characters survived. And 5 if you want to count Felix, because Felix was also part of it. But for the kids, they all survived. So we got Silence, he joins the CRM. We get Hope, who stays with her dad and some others to do research at another location.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we see Will and Felix. They're happy-go-lucky, happy ending for them. Everything's working out. And then we have Iris with your other boy. That oh man, I'm blanking on his name too now. Elton, who took a bite to the arm.
Yep.
To save Hope. He survives. And then with the other little friend that they picked up from the little community there that the mom was in charge of. And those 3, they go off to Portland. They find the location. We see that at the end. She's looking through the binoculars and ta-da. At first I thought, and that's what I was talking about off, I was like, is that the Commonwealth? I really hope it's not, because then if that is the case, then we definitely will see those characters again.
Well, the thing to remember is that this show is, timeline-wise, this is supposed to be, I think, further in time away from...
Same time.
Same time?
Yeah, because they said 10 years from the original blast. Same time. So this is the same time, just another location.
Okay, so that means you definitely will see these characters show up in any of these other shows. Mm-hmm. Maybe not Walking Dead, maybe the Daryl and Carol spinoff or some other type of show.
Because even when Jada showed up, when she talked about, remember? She was like, oh yeah, I was back and I had a little following, like a cult thing. I created a language. And then even in this finale, she said that she just has ambition. She doesn't have a family, and that she gave them something they wanted, and that's what bumped her up this fast. So we're just assuming that she gave them Rick. I don't know what purpose.
That's exactly what my assumption is.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why they would want him, but yeah, all right. So she did something, and that's what gave her the bump to play this role. So we see that that's the outcome. That was it. The mom, Elizabeth, Huck's mom, she gets arrested because Jadis blames her for everything. She was like, well, it was your fault. You sent your daughter on the mission. She failed the mission. She brought those people back. They brought everything down. We didn't get to send the deadly gas, because that was the whole point of this, to get the deadly gas to go kill all the other people, which I still don't understand. Why are you killing civilians? It just doesn't make sense. If anybody, if you're over on YouTube, go ahead, put it in the comments. How does this even make sense that they're killing? I can understand if there was another group, sort of like what we're seeing in Walking Dead proper, where you have Alpha, and you got all the different communities, and they all fight and stuff. We get it. That's just how people are. We see it every day. But you're gassing people that don't even know what's going on. They have nothing to do with anything. They're not having any conflicts. They're not causing problems for you. But yet you're going to kill them. That was the whole thing with Omaha. They were running through some tests and things didn't work out. And they're like, just kill them all. That doesn't make sense, especially when you're already dealing with walkers. And they even showed that. They emphasized that these walkers keep going when they show that little rat trap a few episodes back. Remember where they put the walker in a cell, a sealed room with a rat, and it was like, take a look. It's like, it'll keep moving. It will never get tired. It never gets tired. But the rat does. And when the rat gets tired, it'll stop and then it dies. And that's what's going to happen to us if we don't stop them. Okay. So then why are you killing civilians? We need people to help. It was horrible. And then they just kept hinting. They kept saying the name. I'm blanking on the dude's name, but I'm sure it'll come up later. The name of the leader of the CRM. I think his name is Ben. I think they were saying that. There is a leader. We've never seen him, but that's the same one that Jadis is talking to on her headset. She's reporting to him. She's like, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this responsibility, sir. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, we're going to see him. He's going to be the evil bad guy. Is this like Mr. Claw from from Inspector Gadget? We're just going to see a hand or a mouth. No, we don't even get that. Nothing. It's like, all right, well.
That character is more than likely going to be in the Rick, whatever these Rick movies are. That's somebody that Rick is going to have to deal with, but probably not entirely finish off, since depending on the timeline of whenever that takes place, but yeah, that's probably somebody you're going to definitely see in the movie.
And as I said, there's 6 CRM bases, and there's still 6 because this one did not fall. All that was for nothing. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got some of the scientists out, but I'm sure they'll get captured somewhere along the lines. Because again, they looked fairly close. It didn't look like they went too far off. They just found another location. Like, oh, we got a safe location where we can do everything. They'll be fine. And they looked all happy. I was like, what are you happy about? The CRM is still out there. They're still looking for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just didn't add up. It didn't add up. It was an epic fail for the whole thing. The series had a lot of promise. I was excited. We were all excited. We were like, okay, we're going to do something. We're thinking maybe like a Goonies type of thing, right? We're going to go on this adventure. All this craziness was going to happen. Hardship. No. It was like a freeform Nickelodeon preteen show. A lot of that lovey-dovey and none of this stuff. Everybody looks nice and clean. Ugh, come on. Iris has a lot of beautiful curly hair. It was always nice and clean. Where's the gook? Come on now. My mom has that type of hair. If the wind blows, dust gets in it, you see it everywhere. Nope, her face, everything nice and clean. It's little things like that piss me off.
Well, Iris has evolved, though, I guess, as a character, right?
Yeah,
she did not know how to fight in the beginning of the show. Now,
well, she knew how to fight. She was just scared because remember Felix trained them all. That's why they felt prepared. Yeah. She was just nervous. Yeah, now she doesn't care. She'll kill anybody. Doesn't matter. Speaking of killing, Percy's dead. Yeah, no surprise there. I knew that was going to happen. The way he died, though, of him running and then a sniper just catching him in motion.
Yep, and they did not show that, and I believe that is again because of the rating of the show. They did not want to show.
I guess, yeah, and they don't even revisit. It's just like, oh, leave him. Okay, that's it. You just left him. He's dead. Goodbye. I can at least if he turns, then do that final put down or something like that, like they did with Leo, the father's doctor friend, the one that they killed off a few episodes. I think it was like 7 or 8. One of those. Maybe.
Yeah. The love interest.
Yeah, and they even give us a little reminder flashback because Hope is trying to keep that door closed in one scene, and you see the flashback. She recognizes her, and it's like, oh wow, that's her. She's in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she could have just killed that walker that was in there, and she would have survived. She's running from it. You've been studying these things for a while. You should know a headshot will kill them. And there was plenty of instruments in that room that she could have grabbed to just bash its head in.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't. She went running and she took a bite and whatever. I mean, that's how you got to kill her off. Right? Got to kill her off. So, overall, this was a disappointment, man. This was a serious disappointment.
By far the weakest spin-off show that they've had for anything Walking Dead related. So I expect that the next spinoff, I don't think it can get any worse than this.
I hope they learned from this. I hope they learned because your boy Gimple, running in charge of all of these projects, he calls all of these experiments because they're off-brand and they're not part of the comic universe when it comes to this. This is all, hey, how could we expand this in TV land? And this didn't work. Not just for us, but also in the viewership. It pulled very low numbers. And I think AMC, they also had their doubts, which is why they only approved it for 2 seasons. And give credit. Give credit to AMC for calling it. And I'm sure whoever just said, oh, see, I saved us. I dodged the bullet. They wanted 5 seasons. I'm just assuming. And I said, no, give 2. And look what happened.
So here's the question, though. Never mind the show. What do you think about the after credit scene that they had?
The after credit scene. I'm blanking right now. I thought I saw the after credit scene.
Yeah, you did. Where there was a scientist that walked into one of the laboratories, and they pulled up a video that showed.
Yes. It's like in France.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that there was the doctor, and that it looks like they developed a cure.
They tried to.
They tried to, but then this dude comes in and he puts her down.
Yep.
And it's like, no, it's not happening. So I guess I don't know. What did you think for that?
The conversation said that they tried to find a cure, but the cure did something to the zombies and made them more aggressive, faster. This is why at the end of that scene, after he shoots her and closes the door,
Oh yeah, she starts running. She turns into
starts running to the door. Yep, and starts banging
20
it, like damaging the door. So
28 days later. That's what I saw. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is 28 days later. Here we go. So
yeah,
that's the only thing that I picked from this, that I was like, all right, this could be a hint of what we're going to see for one of the other spin-offs. What was it? Is it the anthology? I don't know if it's going to be the Carol and Daryl, if that's going to apply here, but I can definitely see that because they need to evolve. They need to do something with these walkers.
yeah.
You just can't have them roaming slow the way they are. Something has to happen. We've seen it on Fear with the nuke, and now they're radioactive, and that makes sense. Oh, okay, now you can't even go up close and kill them unless you're covered, or else you're going to get infected and you're going to get radiation. Yeah, that was interesting, but they were speaking French.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this is in France, or it could be Canada, maybe. I don't know. But they were definitely not, the way they made it seem, they were not in the U.S., even though she was talking to a doctor. And a doctor we've seen before. And
Yep. That doctor was in the first season of the Walking Dead when they went to that location.
The first location, yeah. He was,
Yep.
and he said he was working on the cure and doing the whole thing, and then that fell apart, and he died.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really cool callback to that. So the only thing I could think of is that we are going to see an evolution for these walkers, and they will appear in one of the spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely the anthology, because I think the anthology is going to go in new locations, or they at least make it seem like they're going new locations, other parts of the world. Because right now everything has just been in the U.S. and Mexico. Fear went to Mexico. So we will see. But that was it. That was the most interesting part. Yeah, it was a quick turnaround, and I say 28 days later. Some people are like, well, in World War Z, but not this fast. If you remember, 28 days later, remember that one scene where the dad is looking up, and it was like a bird that was bleeding, whatever, and it dropped a drop in his eye, of blood in his eye, and in a matter of seconds, he turned.
Yeah.
He turned, and he was chasing after everybody. So I was like,
I remember that.
Yeah, awesome movie. Awesome. Even the second one, it was the opening is amazing. If you haven't seen that, was it 28 weeks later?
Yeah, yep.
That opening is just one of the best openings of any horror movie, especially zombie related horror movie you could ever have. Because it was so fast paced. Everything that happens. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. If you don't want to watch the whole movie, just type in opening scene 28 weeks later. It's amazing. They did such a great job with that. In fact, they put that in a game. One of the games, what game was it? It was one of the zombie games. They sort of did that frame by frame type of scene too, where you're running and it's doing the whole thing. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. Oh man. So overall, if I guess the big question is it, since everyone survived, do you think we're going to see these characters pop up in Fear, Walking Dead proper? If that is the Commonwealth, I don't think so. I don't think that's the Commonwealth, but now we know they survived. Oh. So anything's possible that they could pop up as just part of the community.
Well, I obviously, for those that have already seen the Fear mid-season finale, or you're going to see it, I'm not going to say nothing about that now, but I will say, yeah, some of these characters will show up on the other shows. Fear the Walking Dead makes sense because of what they're doing right now. Walking Dead is pretty much over, so if Jadis shows up at the end as another adversary for them to deal with, I mean, that wouldn't make much sense. But hey, you'll definitely see these people show up again, though, and whatever the spinoff is.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
The fact they didn't kill him off, like even when Elton got bit, I was like, oh, he's going out. That's it, because they started the episode with that early scene from the first episode where he's opening up the door and giving a whole little speech, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is why. But no, he survives. They patch him up. he's good. No worries. It's okay. It's like, and I guess they treated him. They do have some kind of medicine that can treat a bite. because they didn't amputate his arm, did they? I don't think so.
Yeah, yes, they did.
They did? All right, my bad. There we go.
Yeah, they did.
They did. All right, good. At least they're consistent with that. All right. So, I don't know. If anyone that's listening to this, if you think, oh, wow, I should have watched this, then you didn't pick up any valuable information from what we just said, because this is not something you need to waste your time watching. This is not. This was very forgetful. Besides some of the things that link to what we said, like with the ending credits, with the new infection, it's changing them. And if these characters pop up, that's the only way I can see anyone trying to revisit this, if they play a major role in Fear or Walking Dead, or if any of the other ones.
I know. I'm pretty sure we'll definitely see Iris and Silas again, since they have a pretty much important roles in terms of what they're doing now. So as for Hope,
wow, you
maybe
really think we're going to see Silas again?
Yeah, he's with the CRM, so the CRM is not going anywhere.
All right, so here's a question then. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you think the way they ended it was to keep it open in case they get renewed?
They're not getting renewed.
No, we know that. We know that. But we know a lot of shows do this because they hope. Like, for example, Warrior. I don't know if you watched Warrior. That was awesome. But they did that too. And then next you know, Showtime says, scrap it. Or was it Stars? Was Showtime or Stars? I think it was Stars. Well, they scrapped it, but it got picked up by HBO. HBO got it and said they're going to continue it. But anyway, the point is, at the ending of that season, they left it open that, wow, the story could continue. And even this, if let's say you watch this and you're not up on the news and you didn't know it was only 2 seasons, you would think, oh, wow, they're setting things up for season 3. You know, we got Silas working in CRM. We got Elton and Iris and the other girl. They made it to the new location. Remember, she said her goal was to go there and get reinforcements. Why would anybody follow you? I don't know. This is not like Game of Thrones, where everybody knows who's the king and queen and duchess and all that stuff. You could say whatever you want. Oh, my doctor is a great scientist and he's working on a cure. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, it's like, prove it. How do you prove it?
Well, as far as what I was going to say, the show is over, but the CRM exists on all of the shows. So I think it definitely makes sense if you see Silas again, since he is still a part of the CRM for now.
I'll tell you right now, they're falling flat with the whole CRM story. They're falling really flat on all fronts. We saw it on Fear with the pilot. Again, it's as if it's like Lost, where they just give you bits and pieces, and then we find out later from one of the writers that they had no backstory. They had no big plan for everything. They were just going along with it and just writing it up. They were like, we'll just write up as we go and see how everything plans out. That's what I feel with the CRM, because we don't know where the headquarters is. We don't know much about who's really in charge. The only useful information is that we know that there's 6 locations. But what is this group? Is this our government? Is this a militia? Mm-hmm. What is this? The guys make it seem like they're military, but no one ever talks about being former military. They don't say, I was formerly I was Marine Corps, or I was a Navy SEAL. We don't hear any of that.
See, the thing is that I do agree that they have done a bad job with the CRM and all of these shows. I guess that this show, in a way, was meant to give you more context as to what they're all about and build them up, because the whole thing with Jadis now taking over as the one in charge, I think that is something, that storyline about them having the failed attempt to kill all these people, that will continue. They're going to attempt to do it again. And I think that will set the tone for another story on another show. Whether it's the spinoffs or this happens in Fear next season, you're going to definitely see the CRM come back, and you're going to see some of those characters again. I guarantee that.
This is why I question it, because the ratings were so poor. and
Yeah.
the reviews and the episodes in general were just boring and horrible. If that's the end goal, if that was the long-term plan of like, all right, we're going to have this and then we're going to spin these characters off into this role and on this series, do you still go with that? With everything, with the poor showing from this, how did you know what I mean? The whole point of linking shows together is to boost interest and ratings, viewership.
Yeah.
If no one watched with these kids on this show, what makes you think they're going to watch when they see that they pop up on another show? Is that going to be enough of a draw to find out, oh, guess what? Iris pops up on Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4. Do you care?
Well, I don't care personally, but there may be some people that like the actress and they want to see how she interacts. And of course, if she's on the show with other people, that characters that that people actually like, then that's certainly a chance. But I will say this though, I don't think all these storylines and all the loose ends, because it doesn't feel like it was a complete ending to this show. Some of those stories,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, some of that stuff has to continue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the way they ended this is as if they were keeping it open if they could possibly get another season. I don't know. I know you're saying that was never the plan, and they're probably just gonna spin off into the other spin-offs, and we'll find out. We'll see, because we definitely know there's 2 more spin-offs coming in, and it hasn't been confirmed yet. But I'm assuming, because the fear ratings have been pretty good, that it's going to return for a season 8. If not, then that would be sad. But I think it's going to keep going.
Yeah, I think it will return for season 8. But I just was going to say that other show is an anthology show, and they have already said that it will be old characters on that show as well as new characters. So that's why I'm 100% certain you'll probably see some of these people show up again. Maybe if it's one episode or whatever, they will probably be on whatever that anthology show is.
Man, I could see them doing a lot of flashbacks for many characters that have died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's one thing I was thinking. I was like, we could probably see that if they can get those actors to come back. Like, all right, we're going to do your backstory before you met up with the group.
Mm-hmm. That's possible.
I could see that. I mean, there was one we sort of got some of that with the governor in season 2.
If I was them, I would take that approach, because then, especially if these were some characters that people really liked, then you have them make a return on this show. Like, for example, Chandler Riggs, who played Carl. If you was to get him to come back to do one episode, and that will happen to be in the first season of the anthology, I'm pretty sure people might watch that. So you could start off that anthology series with some ratings.
Well, the tricky part with that is that he's aged.
Yeah,
so they can't really go back from when he first popped up. And he's been around his dad the entire time. We never really had a good amount of time where he was not with his dad. That's why it would make sense to say like a Negan. Yes, we know what happened with his wife, and then that led to everything. But how did he put together Sanctuary and all that stuff? Let's see.
That actually does make sense. That makes sense.
We can see that. That would definitely work.
They could take the approach of, what life would have been like for some of these characters if they didn't die also. Because again, that is an experimental idea that they could consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Negan idea. You got a lot better. So hopefully that is one episode we do get. On that
we'll see. Yeah, and I think they said that's not going to happen. That's an idea. I don't think they started filming. I think that's supposed to happen once Walking Dead proper is finished.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to go with that. But the only one that's definitely something they're working on is the Daryl and Carol. And again, people, it's not called Daryl and Carol. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be like Starsky and Hutch or something like that. That's just, we just know that those two have been confirmed.
No, it's going to be called The Running Dead, since the zombies will now run and sprint at everybody.
Running Dead. Now it makes sense. Get on the bike. Let's go. I mean, as much as people could say all this stuff, that has always been the elephant in the room. Like, here it is. Everyone is spending all their time sneaking around, but then Daryl shows up on his loud ass motorcycle. all right, where are we going? Let's do it. I was like, we're sneaking, and you're driving around on this motorcycle making all this damn noise. Like, even in this episode, when they were trying to get all the walkers to attack the CRM, remember? And they were throwing, like, the firecrackers, whatever it was. It's just like a loud pop noise, and that was attracting all the walkers from the woods. Come on now, Daryl's motorcycle with the kickback on that would get them all out. But they never really bring that up in the show, because it's just, I get it, he's a badass character, you know, a guy on a motorcycle with a crossbow. I get it. I'm not dumb. I get it, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So, all right, people. Thanks again. This was it. World Beyond. It's done. It's a thing of the past. I don't expect this to ever come back. I know we've seen a lot of old shows pop up on streaming services and gain a following, and then they're like, hey, let's get the band back together. We're bringing back Will and Grace, and we're bringing back all these other shows. You know, I think Frasier is next in the line. They're talking about bringing that one back because of the ratings, or they're watching them on the streaming services. I'm like, okay, I get it. But the difference, Will and Grace, Frasier, and we've seen it for a few other ones, those are good shows. This is not good. So if people decide to just tune into AMC Plus later on down the road and start watching, or maybe AMC then sells the rights, I don't see this ever coming back as a thing. I don't think 10 years later, people are going to be like, man, remember, it was only 2 seasons. It was awesome. And where are they now? No, that's not going to happen for this. This is it. It's gone. It's done, people. And you know what else is done? This discussion. We're done with this. All right, people. So we'll be back in a few days. We're going to cover Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 8, which is their mid-season finale. And I have not watched it yet, but Rich, you watched it. Want a little teaser? Is it awesome? Is it everything you wanted?
It's certainly going to be a lot of heated discussions after that episode, because that's all I will say.
No, that's great. Thanks a lot. All right. All right, people. Thanks again for following us and listening and viewing, and we will see you in a few days. Peace.